Not now, I'm busy. And what? What?
Okay, so I know what you're all thinking.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
And if you stumbled upon this channel in your subscription feed and thought,
What kind of idiot would
Subscribe to a channel named
Faulty TARDIS?
to those who noticed or cared, this is the channel formerly known as Who Collection that died and regenerated into Faulty TARDIS.
Regeneration a little bit too much?
No, I thought it was a nice touch.
But of course, none of you actually care about that. You clicked on this video because of the clickbaity title and thumbnail, so let's just get straight to that, shall we? So, hi! Welcome to the first episode of Off-Screen Canon, a series in which I show you something from the Doctor Who universe that was actually never put in the TV show itself, but is definitely canon. Probably. But today's off-screen cannonball was fired by a Mr. Stefan Moufat. And where did he fire it, you might ask? Well, in none other than issue of 551 of Doctor Who magazine. The issue featured Russell and Stephen interviewing each other about their work and time on Doctor Who, featuring a number of interesting conversations like alternate versions of scenes we all know, alternate versions of entire episodes, like the alternate version of Magician's Apprentice where apparently Davros was put on trial and all of the conversations between him and the Doctor was in public as a way for them to persuade the audience. What the hell? Why was that changed? By far the most juiciest of revelations that both Russell and Stephen had been sitting on for 12 years, Silence in the Library is a multi-Doctor story?
Explain!
Is it surprising to know that all the answers lie with River Song? Typical Moffat. He was reminded by Russell that while they were making Silence in the Library, he told him the very last scene ever of Doctor Who. So Stephen eventually dug up the original email he sent, which reads, "In my head, and only in my head, this will probably never appear on screen or be confirmed in any way, River's not just his wife. She is the Doctor."
It's a joke! It was a joke! It was a joke! We were being flippant! That you need to understand! You need to understand that! There are such things as sarcasm! And sometimes they're very difficult. They're very difficult to execute without ruining it by saying, we're just joking actually.
What he really said was, River's not just his wife, she's his widow. Somewhere in the terrible future, on a battlefield, the 45th Doctor dies in her arms and makes the same promise she once made to him.
It's okay, it's not over for you. You'll see me again. You've got all of that to come. You and me, time and space. You watch us run.
And so River buries her husband and off she goes to have lots of adventures with his younger self and confuse the hell out of them.
You've seen the younger versions of him running around having adventures.
Yeah, I am.
Until, of course, she ends up in the data core of the library and realizes she'll never see him again. And then starts to wonder why anyone would call a moon Doctor.
It's just a dr.moon. What's a dr.moon? A virus checker. It supports and maintains the main computer at the core of the planet.
Wait, what? Dr. Moon is the 45th Doctor?
Oops, sorry. Mrs. Angelo's rhubarb surprise. Will I never learn?
The Doctor. I saw the Doctor.
Yes, you did, Donna.
So at some point in the future, before the 45th Doctor dies on a battlefield in the arms of River Song, he constructed a digital copy of himself and installed it into the library's data core as its antivirus software in order to watch over the library, so he and River could be together forever with all of documented history to pass the time. Oh yeah, typical Moffat fairy tale ending. But why doesn't River recognise the Doctor at the end of the episode, you may ask? Well, according to the TARDIS Wikia, Dr. Moon is technically playing the 46th Doctor rather than the 45th, because like we all know, the 45th Doctor died on a battlefield in the arms of River Song, this is established, and the Dr. Moon incarnation is technically a post-mortem data ghost Doctor, and whenever the Doctor made this version of himself, I very much doubt he would have given it a body.
Bodies are boring. I've had loads of them.
He may have just left that up to the library's interface to choose a face for him, as we see it do for other people in the episode. Plus, it is very on-brand for the Doctor to hide in plain sight, even under the nose of his wife.
What if he has a face that you don't know about yet?
He has limits. Well then, let's go find him.
Okay, so it all checks out. It makes sense. But on a scale of fan fiction to televised episode, how canon is it? While we know this can never really happen on screen, as it would canonically end the show forever, but it's not like this was just an idea thrown away by Moffat as soon as the episode aired. It kind of lingered around his era for at least the first half of it. Before River's timeline got all sort of messed up, it was almost running in direct parallel to the Doctor's.
Our lives are back to front. Your future's my past. Your first and my last.
The first time he meets her, she dies. It only makes logical sense that the first time she meets him, he would die, giving her that same speech.
But certainly, as far as I gauge, I met a Doctor in the future, which is my past, and that Doctor is a person that I had a very strong relationship with. But it may not necessarily be this Doctor, but I don't know.
Okay, all right. Just to add to the confusion.
It would certainly clear up the vague mysticism behind this line.
River, you know my name.
Auto-destruct.
You whispered my name in my ear.
9, 8,
There's only one reason I would ever tell anyone my name.
5,
There's only one time I could.
Shh, now.
3,
Spoilers.
2.
Some say the only time he could tell someone his name is if he was dying. Some say he could only reveal it if he was married, or getting married, I guess.
I just told you my name.
You liar!
But at this point in time, at this point in history, Moffat purely must have intended this to allude to the Doctor's eventual death. Until, I guess, he retconned that with the curator?
Or perhaps it doesn't matter either way.
But again, it's Moffat's headcanon, and he has gone out of his way to, I don't want to say shoehorn in, but canonize his own fan theories that he came up with, like the Doctor himself being the inspiration for the word Doctor. He reuses a bunch of memorable lines from his parody spoof that he wrote in the 90s.
They'll exterminate you on the spot if you say anything.
They'd exterminate us on the spot. Look after the universe for me. I've put a lot of work into it.
Look after the universe for me. Put a lot of work into it.
He was never cruel and never cowardly.
Never cruel or cowardly.
And he's also dabbled around in the Doctor's backstory itself.
Whether you like it or not.
But he has the decency to give you what he calls wriggle room, because this isn't canon, obviously. It wasn't in the show, it's off-screen canon. This is just Steven's own headcanon, and he offers it as an interpretation if you want to accept it into your own. Russell also incorporated it into his headcanon. Going back to the interview, he enthusiastically answers that he never forgot the idea, and that every time he watches the story, he thinks, it's him, it's the Doctor, and no one knows.
He just can't do it, can he? That man, that impossible man. He just can't give in.
I mean, it's not too ridiculous. The Timeless Child has literally opened all the possibilities of every single Doctor we've ever seen in our lives is canon. And it's not like we weren't just shown future versions of the Doctor that have never been referenced again, like the Valeyard, the Curator, possibly Ruth, and whatever the hell the Watcher is.
He was the Doctor all the time.
Why not? It's harmless. I mean, it definitely happened in the alternate timeline where the Doctor definitely died on Transilor because, boy, is that a whole can of worms that we'll save for a different video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and wanted more by smashing the hell out of the like button, you sheeple. Leave a comment and engage. Hope you enjoyed the relaunch and stay tuned for more stuff, he says hopefully.